Hey, Scott Jordan here, and this is the Thursday, November 19th COVID update. And I have Mark Warner over there. Are you live or is this a replay?
It's hard to tell.
Let's take these off so my glasses won't fog up. Well, after last week, I'm not sure if we're live or a replay either. You know, it was a very exciting week we had last week, wasn't it?
Last week was amazing. Literally 5 days that were completely
Yeah.
in front of the camera, essentially.
No, I know people can't see what that is, but that's the spreadsheet of all the things we did last week.
We had a couple days where we had some very involved Zoom meetings with key distributors and clients, but the feedback that we've gotten from a lot of the hundreds and thousands of people that tuned in, you're chuckling. It could be millions, Scott. But we did about 20 or so sessions that were oriented towards some of the solutions that Bullen offers for certain needs and problems out there in the world of cleaning and disinfection. But you know, the main thing that was covered that was fascinating to get the response from people on were a lot of purely educational pieces. We got into talking about our germ washing website and the need for honesty and transparency because it's life or death. We got into things like the standards and
standards was one of the most popular sessions that we did. So kudos to you, Mark, because you're the expert on all that stuff.
Well, I know people that know more than me, but thank you for saying that. But, you know, I think an awful lot of people within the cleaning industry don't have a high level of awareness of what are the existing standards. And what we covered in that was that there's several. And then we also talked about some of the new standards committees that I'm involved with and what they may look like in the future. And I think that's probably what brought a lot of people to that program, was curious to see what it might be evolving into the future. The other things that we got into were like our COVID-19 update recap, which was a chance of talking about our 30 or so programs that we've put out there and some of the things highlighting some of the topics we've talked about.
And they're all organized now into a playlist on our YouTube channel. And below this video on the Bullen page, where this will go tomorrow, is the link to be able to watch all of them. So we've kind of organized all those videos. You're right, 30 plus with all the subjects, so you can easily kind of pick out the ones you want. And then the same thing with the 20 plus that we did last week are all up there as well. So very, very exciting stuff. And I think we kind of pushed the envelope a little bit with the streaming thing, not knowing if it was going to work until we actually did it. But that's the way you kind of go at it, right?
It kind of boils down to if you don't try, you don't get anywhere. So we just kind of jumped right into it and attacked it. And we know that we received an awful lot of compliments, and that's nice. And you know, obviously some critiques on things we could have done better, and that's all part of it. And the goal is to take some of that and just continuously evolve. And I think it's the start of something great, Scott.
Well, we got some very interesting news to review this week, and the article that we got last week was about the MTA, which is the Mass Transit Authority. That's for Long Island. Yes, Long Island Railroad. But I think that verifies some of the same stuff that we talked about a few weeks ago about that very special test that was going on in Texas. Only on certain airplanes. But apparently these people have been doing their own independent tests without anybody knowing about it, right, Mark?
Well, the interesting thing is that they have invested, they state in the article, they've invested $750,000. And they wanted to actually explore these claims in a valid real world scenario and see if they could put down some surface barrier treatments that would eliminate the threat of COVID. And they came to a conclusion that let's just say they were disappointed.
Well, let me read the final quote, and we'll put a link to this article. But Brigman, who's I guess the spokesperson, praised the MTA for acknowledging that some strategies to combat the virus have fallen short, and for moving ahead with other strategies like air purification on the Long Island Railroad. They gave it a shot. At least now they know, and they're not going to be throwing good money after bad. That's pretty black and white.
Yeah, it is black and white, and it's it's a little bit of a validation of our skepticism.
Right.
Yeah. So the fact that they put it into a real world test, kudos to them. I'm glad somebody did that way, and also we're transparent and honest about what they found.
Yeah, and we've said all along that we're certainly not just here to knock down some of these residual products. If somebody develops something that actually does what they say it or does what they state, we're 100% behind it. It's just kind of makes you wonder, with all the years that those residual products with the spears and spikes have been around, you would think by now somebody would have already legitimized what they actually do beyond odor-causing bacteria. But I guess it's just bringing more scrutiny to it. So either a play out or not. So we're certainly not here just to bash these products. It's, if somebody comes up with one, hey, I'd love to be, Bullen would be right in line to sell it along with everybody else.
We would jump right on the opportunity to actually let the world know about it. And if something came along that could prove that it did that. But like you said, these claims aren't particularly new. In the past, they were quite specific about what they were making claims for. The part that's disturbing now is that people are trying to leave certain facts out of their story so that people will misinterpret the story into the belief that it's going to somehow protect them from COVID-19.
Yeah.
And that's a leap of logic that is not correct. It's not that it's being misrepresented. It's the facts that are relevant are being left out. So, and the other thing that kind of ties into the, spears and spikes from my thing is, other technologies have come along, and we were talking about that earlier this morning. The concept of using UVC and the shadow zones and all of that, which I know we wanted to dive into, but the core level of all that is that these things tend to be purely being used as an insurance policy. They are not suggesting that you eliminate pre-cleaning and proper disinfection,
right?
But to use UVC as a insurance policy, and that's what we've seen with robotics in hospitals.
Yeah. So the same article, again, we'll put a link in the notes, but the same article talks about the fact not only did they test the residual activity of some of those products that we've just talked about, they also did the UV testing, and they kind of determined that it maybe is viable, but they can't have it like going through the train with people in the train, because I guess that spectrum of UV light could cause some serious damage to your eyes, right, Mark?
Yeah, it's technically it's attacking organics, and I don't know, last time I checked, most humans were pretty organic.
We'll have to take a poll.
Yeah, I might have met one or two in my life that weren't, but I'd say most were, But all of this kind of leads us into, it all ties together, and the idea behind today's program was to talk about germ washing and some of the things that are being done to create transparency, and how our ultimate goal really all along has been a form of education and knowledge, and not everybody has access to education and knowledge, and in some cases it's costly to get education and knowledge. And so there is some other news that's popped up pretty recently with the ISSA and Kimberly Clark combining their forces and making grant money available, free and clear grant money available to the education sector, primarily trying to make this money available for the K through 12 schools.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law is involved with education within the state of Pennsylvania, and this intrigued her a great deal. So I think that's neat to see that companies that are in a position to offer help are rising to that level too.
Yeah, we'll include a link for that. That's certainly a great thing that Kimberly-Clark is doing. I guess they're putting up the majority of the money, right?
Yeah, there's several $1 million at play. So that's and it's not just Kimberly-Clark that's doing these grants with the ISSA. Georgia Pacific did too. Okay. So these very, very large manufacturers within the janitorial and sanitary maintenance industry have stepped forward to help out in many ways. I also believe that Procter & Gamble made an additional grant money available as it related to the Hygiena organization within ISSA, which is aimed at female professionals.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been an exciting week after last week. Now we have coming up next week is going to be a little short. Not sure if we'll get the fit in a COVID update because technically it would be on Thanksgiving unless you want to do a Zoom call from Thanksgiving. No, I'm sorry, that's the week after next. I'm a week off. So we do a COVID next week, but maybe we'll do a COVID Zoom meeting with your family, my family, and we can all discuss the proper eating techniques for turkey consumption with masks on.
So next Thursday is Thanksgiving, and I think that you and I should be sitting at the Thanksgiving table with masks. I mean, we can't do that. We record. Is this live or is this recorded? That's the question, right? Did we do this today, Thursday the 19th, or did we record this on Wednesday, November 18th? You won't know. Only the shadow knows.
I'm having trouble keeping track of it. Is Thanksgiving next week or is it the week after? Who knows? Who knows? I know it's getting cold out, but okay. I think that's the news for the week. Anything else, Mark?
That's the news fit to print. We're just anxious to get feedback from all of you as you come across things that you either find yourself being maybe skeptical about and you want us to look into it as part of our COVID-19 updates. That's great. Yep. If you have questions regarding the supply chain and how well both the raw material manufacturers are starting to keep up with existing demand, as well as packaging for products. If those are questions you have, let us know. Some of the other things that people have been asking about are where do we see with this new spike in COVID-19? Is there any other product lines that might be impacted through the potential of hoarding or much higher levels of demand? And there are a few.
I was at Costco last night. Still no paper towels. I don't know what the story is with paper towels. I mean, they had some off-brand paper towel that, you wouldn't really want to use, but I don't know what the story is with paper towels. So everybody's getting freaked out about paper towels. They have plenty of toilet paper.
Yeah, I was going to say it's less life-threatening than not having toilet paper, which is seriously life-threatening.
Yeah.
So anyway, we appreciate everybody tapping in today.
Yep. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you maybe next week, maybe not. And
well, at the very least, we'll send out a happy Thanksgiving to you all.
That's right. Okay, gang, stay safe out there.